ready. So thank you. I'm very excited today because I have an awesome guest, and is Dr. Kori Propst from from the Diet Doc. And yeah, I just would like for you to kind of introduce yourself to our to my viewers, and just tell a little bit what do you do.
Sure. Well, thank you first. I'm super excited to have this conversation with you, Andrea. And to a lot of your viewers who are probably a lot of your clients, right? Those you work with,
Yeah.
They probably recognize me. My hair might be a little bit different because every time they watch a video of mine in their online classroom, it's changed a little bit, but hi guys. And to those of you who don't know me, I'm a little wacky sometimes, but I am the vice president and wellness director of the Diet Doc, and I'm a health psychologist. And I created the Mental Edge program that is weaved into all of the programming that focuses on nutrition, that focuses on weight loss, that focuses on fitness and health coaching. So yeah, I'm kind of involved in a lot of things. My passion really is around emotions and emotional flexibility and behavioral flexibility and positive psychology, and really empowering ourselves to live in accordance with our values and in alignment with what we decide as individuals is important to us, not living according to the rules of others or what other people or entities or governing bodies tell us we need to be doing or should be doing. There's a lot there, and I'm sure that we're going to get into some of that as we talk, Andrea, but that's kind of me in a nutshell. I've had a number of my own very personal struggles that have put me, I feel like, in a position of intense reflection and being able to empathize with a lot of the different things that we, I think, all at some point in our life struggle with. So
yeah.
Not
to mention that you were part of my recovery journey, so I'm very honored to have you here talking with me today, because this topic is just it's very dear to my heart. I see a lot on my clients, and is from my own personal experience as well. So I would love to kind of have this conversation with you about, emotional eating. And I see two ways. I see emotional eating and eating emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love that you have that discrepancy, that you're finding differences between the two, because I think we could lump all emotional eating into one category, but that wouldn't necessarily be grounded in a super holistic view of it. And I think it gives people the wrong idea, and it puts people in a place of judging themselves about whether they're doing it right or they're doing it wrong. And that's certainly not what we at the Diet Doc want to push people towards at all. We want them to be in a place of acceptance and self-love and compassion, and they get to determine what that looks like for themselves with our guidance. So thank you for kind of laying out the differences, and I want to know what you mean by both, and maybe we can have a conversation about.
Sure. For me, to me, like, emotional eating is when you're pretty much eating with the emotion, like when you're stressed or you're overwhelmed, and or you're in a place where you are coping with your emotions. So because we are talking about eating, that's, it will be eating, right? The action of eating, but it could be drinking, emotional drinking, emotional gambling. And that's how I see the definition. I might be wrong, but that's how I see. And eating emotionally is more like with memory, because we can't separate food from memories, because I truly believe that we are born, and that's how like our cultures are, our society, how we were raised us around, not just food, but those memories, right? If that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, it totally does.
Food and in memories. That's what I the only thing I can think about right now.
A lot of us have associations with certain foods, or with ways of eating, or with eating sorts of situations, and memories are attached to those things. So we have beliefs, we have associations, we have opinions, and a lot of those are about foods themselves. But biologically, memories are created when emotion is present. Mm-hmm. If there's no emotion present when we go through an experience, there's not likely going to be a memory attached to it. Mm-hmm. But I think what I hear you saying, Andrea, is that, all of us have tendencies in regards to the way we eat and what we eat and how we eat, based on culture, based on family, based on messages that we were sent, and all of those things can create memories. So here's how I look at emotional eating. I'll say this first. Mm-hmm. When someone comes to me and they're like, I emotionally eat, they're not saying it to me like this: I emotionally eat. Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't have that tone at all. The tone is, I am an emotional eater. Mm. I need to stop. Mm-hmm. It's wrecking my life. It's wreaking havoc in my relationship with food. I need to fix my relationship with food. Mm-hmm. So the tone is constricted, it's rigid, and or it's chaotic. Like, I don't know what to do. I feel all over the place when I'm around food, and when I'm stressed, and then I eat, then I'm an emotional eater. So I think that's important to delineate, is that most people, when they say emotional eating, it's not a good thing. Now, as I've done more and more research, and I've reflected on my own experiences and the experiences of my clients, mm-hmm. I look at all eating as emotional, because we're human. So anytime we eat, we are probably experiencing an emotion. Now, we may not be cognizant of the emotion that we're experiencing. It may not be in our awareness. Uh-huh. We may not be in a space where, I'm sitting down to dinner and I'm like, I notice that I'm experiencing a sense of discouragement right now. Mm. Like, then we're eating and we're experiencing an emotion of discouragement. Mm. Most people will be eating and they're doing something else. And so they're distracted and they don't know what they're feeling. Mm-hmm. Take eating completely out of it, and most people don't know what they're feeling. So to me, one of the foundations is developing a new level of awareness around what we are experiencing, period. Uh-huh. Outside of eating. Because if we can develop that awareness and develop that as a foundation for understanding ourselves, then when we bring in the eating context, it's a lot easier maybe and simpler to understand and kind of pull apart and extract what's actually occurring here. What is the need that I'm trying to meet here, if I am trying to meet a need through food? So there's that. If we're human, we're experiencing emotion, and so we're likely experiencing emotion when we eat. And not all emotional eating is negative. If you think about when we're celebrating,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
it's a holiday. You know, I just celebrated my birthday with my mom and my sister and my boyfriend, and we're all together. And she made a cake for me and a special dinner. Of course, that meal was Kori eating emotionally eating. And I don't look at that as, man, like that was bad and I feel like a failure and I should have done that differently. You know, no, there, in that period of time, I was experiencing appreciation. I was experiencing a sense of gratitude. I was experiencing love. I was experiencing compassion for my family. And I'm emotional right now because it was very special to me what they put together for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was emotionally eating. And it was those emotions that a lot of times we will eat in situations like that and maybe eat more than we typically would because we want to extend those emotions. It's almost like we're asking them to last a bit longer.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, on the flip side of that, when the feeling that's embodied is constricted and very tight or chaotic and what we would label as unpleasant, what we're trying to do in that situation through eating is to avoid, to push away, to change what is actually present, to shift it. Because the belief in that moment is, this is not okay. This needs to be different than it is right now. So we have, this needs to be different. This should not be this way. On the flip side, we have, I don't want this to end. Let's make this stay this way.
Mm-hmm.
And we can call one good or one bad, but I don't know that that really helps us at all. It's more like, can I become more aware and present in the situation to understand what is this experience right now? Am I trying to push something away? Am I trying to extend it? Do I need to do either one of those? Or can I just be with this?
Yeah.
What do you think? Am
No.
I totally off the wall, Andrea?
No, you're not. No, you're not. I think you brought a good point. You know, one, first, you were saying that, you know, a lot of people were not aware. You know,
Yeah.
I think awareness is something that most people, I know for sure that it wasn't what I was missing in my life. Like how being aware of how I was approaching food, you know, with what type of emotion in in that situation, you know, like experience, like you just mentioned about your, you know, your birthday, it being something so special. But if we can approach, if you are not aware, you don't know the emotion, because it's something that is, it's normal to us, even though it's a special day, but it's because it's part of our life, we just take, I would say, like, for granted.
Sure. Yeah. Or we've never actually taken the time or the opportunity to ask the question, like, okay, I just noticed a shift in my body.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. All of a sudden, like in that moment where I was on the verge of tears during this video, if in that moment I had been like, what's happening for me right now?
Yeah.
Like I feel like a little tight in my throat, and you know, I got a little hot. So there are these physical sensations, these bodily sensations that let us know that we're experiencing an emotion,
Mm-hmm.
or a few.
Mm-hmm.
But unless we give ourselves the opportunity, and if no one has ever said, or asked us the question, like, how do you know when you say you're stressed, Andrea? How do you know? Because when I ask my clients that question, most of them are like, I don't know, I'm just stressed.
Uh-huh.
Well, our bodies tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can begin to more deliberately ask ourselves that question, what is occurring for me right now in my body, inside? Is it hot? Is it tight? Does it feel constricted in my stomach? Are there butterflies in my stomach? Do I feel like tension behind my eyes? You know, those are sensations. We have senses, but no one ever thinks about like sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell, right? Well, we have sensations in our bodies that indicate an emotional experience is occurring. So the awareness comes when we can be like, what is this? Can I describe it? Can I describe the sensations in my body right now? And the value of that isn't just being able to say, huh, that's, I've never experienced it like this before. And not getting caught up in the feeling and allowing the feeling to drive our behavior. Now we're more in control. We can be like, interesting. Okay, I feel like I need to cry right now. And letting it be and crying if that's what's there, instead of being like, oh, I need to this is uncomfortable, but having no words or vocabulary or awareness to even acknowledge that there is something there. So was that part of, you know, when you said like I had to learn to develop awareness, was that part of it for you?
For me, it was questioning. In the beginning, actually, to be honest with you, was more like about journaling, you know. And I think like a journal, like a journaling it depends on the person, you know. I'm more like a journal type person, so I just start like writing down my feelings, how I was feeling in that moment, then asking myself in the moment, because I noticed that with me, and back in the days, my old self, she would not stop and ask like, whoa, what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, so for me, this exercise of journaling, it helped. So that's how I started developing that awareness. You know, it's like, how am I feeling? How am I feeling today? Asking myself those questions, but with being very consistent with those questions each day. So then with my answers, I could understand a little bit more about myself.
That's the beauty about writing. That's the beauty about journaling. It's not actually, it helps us integrate the experience when we can write it out, and for you to be able to go back and read it and be like, oh, interesting. Okay, what do I want to do with that next? It's something that I have a lot of my clients do. Journaling the word often causes some level of resistance and rigidity. They're like, I don't have time to journaling. And I'm like,
I feel the same, like resistance. I don't.
Just get a notebook and get out, purge whatever's in your head right now. Like, what? So, I mean, I have stacks of journals because it's been revolutionary for me and in my development. And, but we can only hold so much in our heads. And so get it out. And it's almost literally like when that energy is there inside of us and we allow for it to come out through our fingers, whether it's on a keyboard or with a pen, it doesn't matter. And we don't censor, and we just write, go, let it flow, let it out. We're giving ourselves permission to feel whatever is there, which isn't normal for most people. And that's why we have such an issue with, let's call it emotional overeating.
Yeah.
Or soothing ourselves with methods that are defeating and harmful.
Mm-hmm.
The opioid crisis, just trying to change our current state of being because we don't have the skill. And that's, I think, what I want to really stress here is that awareness is a skill that we can build.
Yeah.
And that if we want to live a more deliberate, conscious, healthy life,
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to give ourselves the benefit of developing awareness.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say that for someone who they're just listening to us right now and they're feeling lost? This concept of awareness is something so new to them. And what do you would tell them to actually to do in the first place in a situation where they are stressed and then they are just needing something to help them to overcoming their situation or their challenge?
Sure. So there's a couple of things that came to mind as you were talking, Andrea. And one is, what a beautiful opportunity. If there is this person who's listening and they're in that space right now where they are feeling lost or unsure or uncertain, know that you are not alone. First and foremost, you're not alone. You are not the only person experiencing that, even right now. And all of us have been there and will be there again. Mm-hmm. No matter how aware and skilled we've become in our awareness, I will be traveling through lostness and insecurity and uncertainty probably a couple times today. So you are not alone, girlfriend or boyfriend. The second thing is, the best thing in a situation like that is, let's practice offering ourselves some level of compassion in that moment and not immediately go to, I shouldn't be feeling this way. I'm such a failure that I'm feeling this way. What's wrong with me that I'm feeling this way? Everyone else has it figured out and I don't. No, it's not that at all. Yeah. And blasting ourselves like that and allowing the critic to tell us how it should or shouldn't be does not help us. It moves us into this place of threat, and it will actually increase your sense of stress. So in that moment, here's the third thing: breathing, pausing and breathing. Yeah. Take 3 big deep breaths in that moment when you notice that sense of lostness or insecurity. Breathe, and then say, no, I'm going to be okay. This doesn't have to feel great right now for me to be okay. Mm-hmm. Not feeling okay is part of being human. Mm-hmm. I don't have a choice about whether I'm going to be a human or not.
I'm human. Emotions. Emotions.
And maybe that would be a fourth thing. So if you can infuse a little bit of humor into the situation too, like, I'm a messed up human. I'm a messed up human. Okay, awesome. Kori's a messed up human. Andrea's a messed up human. Like, we're all messed up humans. And we don't have, like, not being messy is not a requirement for self-development and improving and changing. It's part of improving and changing. Expect messy, expect uncertain. Yeah. So those would be the first starting places. Pause, breathe, offer yourself compassion. Remember, you're not alone.
And I think another thing too, we need to remind ourselves is this is like a journey. You know, it's we are evolving each day, like, you know, in this beautiful human being, like we
Beautiful
are.
human messiness journey.
Yes, yes. Trust me. That's every day, every single day. But guess what? It's just it's part of life. And one thing you taught me, and I appreciate this a lot, is the fact that you always use the word curiosity. You know, yeah. And in the beginning, for me, it was like being curious about
What?
like I have no idea. It's like, but now it's such a like each day for me, I see as an opportunity to make something better. You know, I'm gonna fall every single step doing this, but
And then you get back up.
yeah, yeah, it just messed up earlier. But anyway, so it's okay. Uh, but it's giving me the opportunity to just kind of okay, reflect upon my actions. Doesn't mean that I am gonna be perfect tomorrow, right? But it's the effort of continuing, like, okay, you know what, I had a piece of cake earlier, but it's okay. You know, doesn't mean that I'm a bad person because of that.
Right. Yeah. So what I love is, and I think about this word, with curiosity, it's giving yourself permission to explore and to be inquisitive.
Mm-hmm.
It's inviting inquiry. It's inviting questions. One of my favorite quotes, and I've said this on other podcasts and interviews, is it's a Rumi quote, and it's live your questions.
Mm.
You know, so often we're scrambling and grasping for answers. We want black and white, right? We want dichotomous. And I think when we can open up to the possibilities that it's beyond black and white, there's a lot of gray. It's an invitation to just let things be as they are and not clinging to them having to be any different at all. Giving ourselves the invitation to have an adventure in whatever this is right now. This messiness, this uncertainty, this sense of failure. And then when we breathe, because that invitation is like, can I accept this right now? I don't have to feel like it's okay. I don't have to feel like this is ideal. No, I don't have to want to be in this right now.
Yeah.
To still invite it and understand that it's not always going to be this way. This too shall pass. It does. Literally, emotions take about 30 to 90 seconds to subside. If we'll give ourselves the opportunity to just let it be. Let it be. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to change it. Don't try to overcome it. You know, there is this, I got to get over this mentality.
Yeah.
And that's not accepting. That's not loving. That's not compassionate. It's pressure filled. It's constricting. And especially if we're talking about eating and our relationships with food and our relationships with our bodies, you know, there are so many rules that we are following and we probably don't even know it unless we ask ourselves the question to increase our level of awareness, right? About what is guiding our behaviors. Why am I eating this food? Am I eating this food because my coach told me I have to eat this food? Do I even really like this food? Someone posted on the Diet Doc forum recently, Andrea, about this new client who had been eating, I think, boiled chicken and broccoli for so long to the point where she couldn't keep it down. Like she was barfing up her food. And my first thought was, why the heck would
Yeah.
someone keep harming their bodies that way?
Mm-hmm.
Body is literally rejecting this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're continuing to eat it. Now, no, it's not because they're doing this for self-care.
No.
They're doing it because they're trying to please someone else. They're doing it because there's some rule that they're following that they read in a book or their coach told them was appropriate or that they had to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think in terms of, continuing to develop our level of awareness, one of the best things that we can do is to ask, am I doing this in the service of self-care?
I like
And
that.
that goes with emotions too.
Yes.
Can I be with this in the service of self-care and self-compassion? Because this is me talking to myself. I know my tendency is to push it away or to avoid it or to distract from it. And I know maybe my tendency is to rush towards food to try to feel comfortable. Well, what would happen if I truly began practicing and embodying the understanding that I don't need to be comfortable all the time?
Mm-hmm.
That I can experience unpleasantness
Mm-hmm.
and still be my vital, energetic self
Mm-hmm.
and still contribute to the well-being of others. And that doesn't require comfort. It's actually in the uncomfortable places where I'm like, ooh, now I can invite curiosity. I just felt this shift right here in my body with this change in emotion. I can use that as a cue to check in with myself and be like, what is this experience? That's the curiosity piece, to ask, what is this experience right now? Can I describe it? What just happened? What can I learn about myself through this?
I really love that. I love that. Just the fact that, like, asking yourself, am I doing this for, like, for myself, for,
Yeah, in the service of my self-care. Yeah.
and I think that's one of the things I try to really, like, emphasize when working with clients is to knowing why they are not really like, I like to ask the why you are doing the things you are doing. It's serving you,
Yeah.
or it's serving somebody else? Because that's the true transformation. Your body transformation. Kudos for people who lose like 30 pounds and transform everything, their body, their physiques, but doesn't mean necessarily they're transforming their lives.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's another conversation too, because it's a difference between transformation. I truly believe like transformation comes from inside out. So I see a lot of weight loss, but it's like 10 pounds, 10 days, whatever it is. Are you doing this for yourself, or you're just harming yourself? And then that comes with the sense of awareness, right? So most people are not aware yet. And I think that it's so important to, when you decide to change your life, if you truly want to, because I think genuinely everybody wants to change their bodies. They want to improve not just their bodies, but their health.
Well, yeah, when you said like everyone wants to change their bodies, my brain is like, why? Who says that their bodies aren't fantastic and amazing and strong the way they are? Like, where does the belief stem from that says change your body?
Yeah, I think and that's like it's the society.
Culture?
It's what we see. It's culture is
Social media?
and it's marketing. It's a huge industry, and we are trapped, unfortunately, and then when we come here to really show or share our our passion for healthy living, because that's what we do. You know, that's why I'm so passionate about like the Diet Doc and our mission, transforming people's lives and transforming in a way that it's not a weight loss transformation, because that is easy. I always tell my clients, this is super easy. You don't really need to work with me if you want to have a weight loss transformation. Just buy a freaking magazine and follow the meal plan.
Oh, Andrea, I love that. I do, because it, yes. Yep.
Right?
I'm applauding you right now. Yes.
Because you don't, for that matter, it's like following a diet, it's super easy. But having that, like you just mentioned, like the awareness and understanding about yourself and being curious about like evolving and transforming like yourself and then the person you meant to be in this world, and being on, you know, like having the mission of being on service of others.
That's where my brain went to, which is when we transform from the inside out, what we transform on the inside is then projected outward. Everyone that we come into contact with is influenced in a positive way by, you know, where we have come from, what we're willing to look at. Because when we transform how we treat ourselves, how we talk to ourselves, the language we use with ourselves, the compassion that we offer ourselves, we are that much more capable of offering those same things to other people. When I meet an individual who seems just kind of shut down and just hardened or angry or callous or just pessimistic, my first question is, I wonder what this person is going through. I immediately go to the inside, because there has to be something that they're dealing with or working through that is being filtered out, you know, into the world and onto other people. And it has to come from the inside out if we do expect it to be enduring and lasting and sustainable. You know, I think about the people who come to us, Andrea, and I don't want to get too off track in terms of the emotional eating topic, but it's very rare that I will have someone inquire about the Diet Doc and the services and what we offer, for them to say, I have a lot of body weight to lose. They don't say that. They never say body weight. They say weight. And what we end up discovering together is a whole bunch of emotional weight.
I was just thinking about this earlier. Oh my gosh.
They are carrying around with them so much, and it's causing them so much pain and pressure to be something or someone. And I'm like, dang, your backpack is freaking heavy. Like, can we empty that and just see what's in there? Seriously. So yeah, it's really interesting. I think, you know, when we were talking before you started recording, we were talking about how this is particularly difficult for women. And I think because we work primarily mostly with women, we see it with them, but I do not want to discount that there are as many, if not more, men who also are dealing with these cultural impossibilities, I'll call them, about who they need to be and how they should be and how they should act and what's appropriate for a man and just this junk.
Yeah.
they're carrying around, and that's causing them to feel like a shell of a person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they don't come to me with body weight. They come saying, I need to lose weight. And what we end up doing is breaking down the major walls and barriers that are occurring really emotionally, and that they've gathered up and have put in that backpack, that are all beliefs from other people and rules from the chronic diets that they've done all their lives, and breaking free from those.
Yeah.
Because they create so much fear.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're living in a box, and they don't know where to turn, and or what to eat and when to eat, and they have these lists of bad or good foods, and they just create a prison. It's a prison living like that. And it's awareness that is necessary to get us to the place where we can break free from that fear
Mm-hmm.
and that prison, and move into this more spacious sense of freedom, literally.
Yeah. And I like the fact that what you mentioned about when they come to us, they always mention like, I need to lose weight. It's so funny because I was driving back home and I was just thinking about what I was going to talk about, on my live videos. And it came down to like, we carry so much garbage in our backpack. We keep piling, and I see that a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm still piling sometimes some of those garbage. But now it's just
that's the thing. We're not immune to it just because we're coaches.
Mm-mm.
We all carry around backpacks, and we shove crap in them.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully we're learning how to take them off
Mm-hmm.
and be like, okay, what's in here today? Like, nope, don't need that.
Yeah.
That was that person's crap. Not going to carry that around. And,
And I think that's why, like, even us coaches, we need coaches, or we need somebody that we truly trust.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that most people don't, like, they are not understanding when they are working with someone. Trust is very important.
Oh, man.
Right? So, again, come down to diets, and if you can follow any diet, right? It's easy, but you can work with a coach who's telling you whatever you will need to eat to lose the weight, but you got to have that relationship with them. They need to understand where you are. They need to guide you through. That's my truly like my own experience, and that's how I was able to change the way I was thinking, to change to see myself, and to become this woman who I never thought I would become. So and that is, I think I wish this for every single person who are watching right now, see where they are, kind of a reevaluating what they have been doing in the past, what is working, what is not working, asking yourself some key questions, how am I feeling today? Like you just mentioned, and to breathe, stop, and then sometimes just to kind of take a break, to take a deep breath, and say, okay, I will be okay. I have been in in worse situations than I am right now. It just feels like this situation right now is the end of the world. And I get it. Yeah, I get in those moments as well, but it's not. You always have a light at the end of the tunnel, even in your worst, like, and the loss of the loved one. You can still have that. You just need to keep it just kind of a move forward, and reach out, right? I think reaching out and be okay, just saying, hey, I need some help right now.
I think vulnerability,
Yeah,
which is a word that scares most,
yeah,
because It conveys a sense of openness and exposure.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about what the culture has told us is appropriate, and what many of us learned growing up, it was don't feel, don't show your emotion, don't put that out there, like shove it down.
Yeah.
We don't need to see that.
Don't cry. You're
Uh,
strong.
and see, I strength to me is vulnerability. When I cry, I feel strong because I am in those moments.
Yeah.
Guess what? I am being completely true to myself in those moments.
Oh my God, I love that.
Well, when I shove it away, and when in my head I hear, you are not being true right now, Kori. You're so not being true. That is so much more painful.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm.
To know that I am not honoring what is there.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not worth it to me.
No. I think that is being vulnerable is an action of being it has a courage.
Yeah, which
That's
is strength. You said be strong. Yeah, that's courageous. So I have just cried in front of however many thousands or millions of people are watching your channel.
I cry all the time of my life.
There's a time in my life when that wasn't okay for me to do that. Most people know that I struggled with an eating disorder in my late teens. And it was be fiercely unemotional, Kori. You got it all figured out, and it's all put together in a really tight package. And man, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. It took a lot of work. It took a lot of reflection. It took a lot of awareness building. It took, like you said, reaching out, talking to other people, learning, being willing to grow, being willing to step into uncertainty, offering myself compassion in those times when I was like, I don't know. I don't know what my next step is.
Yeah.
That's okay. We don't need to know what every next step is going to be in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love that. So thank you for your time, Kori, because this is kind of I know I really appreciate the fact that you're taking time off your busy schedule just to kind of really have this conversation, because I really think that the more we talk about it, the more people will become more comfortable talking about it and understand that it's okay to be emotional. It's okay to mess up. It's okay to, having, great cookies when you're stressed. But once you understand why you were taking those actions, that's when like the light bulb just turns on and you're like, oh my God, it's not that like, I don't know, this monster in my head that I thought it was, but I would love like if we can another day kind of have another this type of conversations. And I'm sure like a lot of people will have quite a few questions, and you can always post your questions in the comments below as well. Let us know what you think, where you are, because we are always here just to guide you, give you some tips and information. And like just Kori said, you're not alone, and that's a good feeling to know you are not alone in this journey. We are here with you. We all been there, and we will be there again. Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe in 5 minutes.
Yes, maybe 5 minutes.
Emotions can cycle so quickly. Yeah, and just real quick, the Diet Doc Life Mastery podcast, we just recorded an episode that is called I Want to Eat Like a Normal Person, Moving from Fear to Freedom. And a lot of what we kind of talked about here today, I'm going to be addressing in this short series.
Oh, awesome.
And I would love to have another conversation with you about this, Andrea, because I kind of, as I visualize what it looks like and the capacities that we can develop within ourselves to be with the emotion that oftentimes we're so hell-bent, for lack of a better word, on avoiding and pushing away, comes down to macros. There are 4 M's. Macros, and I don't mean like very rigid, structured ranges that we have to meet every single day. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to leave it at that. But please know, it does not mean very rigid, structured ranges that you have to meet every single day. Okay? Metabolism, which is understanding our bodies. What we need, how they feel when we eat certain foods, when we do or do not need to eat, having a sense of our physiological and emotional hunger. That's all related to metabolism. Mindfulness, which is a non-judgmental awareness of mind and body. What am I experiencing right now? What is this? What could this mean? How could I use this as an opportunity to learn about who I am and what I need and what's important to me? And then moralization, big word to indicate how, and this environment that we put ourselves in around food. We have moralized food. We have moralized weight. We have moralized physique, how we should look and how tiny things should be or big. Like we need super tiny waists but big butts. Enough said. Food right now is all about judgment. And so we're going to get into those 4 factors in the podcast. Would love to have another conversation with you about them. And so thank you.
I definitely want to have a more conversation about this with you. That's for sure. Definitely. We need to start this like Kori and Andrea, like weekly talk. Let's just talk about like
getting down to business.
Alrighty, but thank you. And just tell us where we can find more about you, where you are hanging out the most, like where we can find you.
I'm hanging out with my cat, Jackson. So we're on Instagram. I actually just changed the name.
Okay.
From the Diet Doc Weight Loss to the Diet Doc Life. Literally like an hour ago.
Okay.
Because everything has culminated to this point where I'm like, I can't call it that. I cannot legitimately call it the Diet Doc Weight Loss because that is not our mission. It's not our vision. That's not what we cater to.
No.
Do we help people lose weight? Yeah, we absolutely do, because it's necessary sometimes and very, very important. But it's the Diet Doc Life. Inside out transformation, just like you said. So Instagram, the Diet Doc Life. The Diet Doc Life Mastery podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud. You can access it from our website, thedietdoc.com. You can email me if you want to. It's Kori, Kori, at thedietdoc.com. And
you also,
go ahead.
Sorry. You also offer the mindset.
The ABCs of motivation.
Okay.
I have an online course called the ABCs of Motivation. It's a 14-week course. You get 2 podcasts per week. And this is all about the most important factors that are related to motivation and living your most vital, most energetic, most enthusiastic life. And you've taken it, Andrea. I know it made a big difference for you. We've had a lot of clients really enjoy it and see it have tremendous benefit in terms of their level of awareness and leveling up, their capacities and their sense of effectiveness in managing their lives. And it's just been really cool to see. So if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me and I can give you more information about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty. So I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You
And,
too.
yeah, I know. I'm so excited. And I'm going to talk to you very soon.
All right, Andrea. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.